Hey guys, what's up? It's your girl Becca, and as you can tell from the title of this vlog, we will be talking about depression. More so, I will be letting you guys know what it's like. Well, not really what it's like, but the way people with depression think. And hopefully, it will help you have a better understanding and might help people who have friends who are depressed. Or at least that will be my intent tonight. And so I guess let's just get right into it. So the first thing I can really tell you is that depression is an actual sickness. It's not something people can really control. It's not something that people just get. It's not a joke, it's not a game, it's not funny. It's really a sickness that people can't control. And when you're depressed, it changes the way you do everything. It really does. It's hard to get up in the morning because you feel like it's too exhausting. It's hard to get up every morning because you feel like, what's the point? I just need to lay here, so I don't bug anybody or so I don't mess something up. And even if they don't do that stuff, that's the way most people with depression think. There's also ongoing depression, and if you don't know what ongoing depression is, basically you don't need a reason to be depressed. You're just depressed about everything. And even if you have like a pretty good life, if you have like all the cars you could want and someone just handed you like $1 million check, you'll still find a way to think about it in a negative view if you have ongoing depression. And basically how that works is, let's say for example, someone handed a person with ongoing depression $1 million check. They might take it, they might get excited about it at first, but then they might get it in their head, do I really deserve this? I don't think I deserve it. Someone else deserves it. I'm not worthy. I've done nothing good in life. I really don't deserve this. And they really can't help that, People with depression, it's not something they can control at all. It's really like, it's like having ADHD. You can take medicine for it, but how much is it really going to help? Like, it's not really going to help that much. Me personally, when I take anxiety and depression medication, it doesn't really help me. It just makes me lock myself from the world. And yeah, it keeps me from having suicidal thoughts, but at the same time, it keeps me from doing a lot of stuff. Like, it makes it harder because all I want to do is sleep. I just want to sleep 24/7, and I guess in a way it helps, but at the same time it really doesn't. And that's another thing. People who have depression so bad that they feel like they no longer belong on this earth, it's not an easy thing. I've seen so many people lose people they care about over suicide. And I've known people who have killed themselves. And it's a really horrifying and horrible thing, not just for the people who lost them, but also for the person who did it. It's a very scary thing. When you get to that point, it's basically at the point where you've had to deal with so much that you've truly gotten it in your head that there's no other option but to just end it all. And once you get on that level, it's really, really hard to come down from that unless you get serious help. And not everyone will get serious help because they feel like it's a big bother to people. But I would like to encourage you, if you have suicidal thoughts, to really try to go to someone, because I know it's hard because a lot of people with suicidal thoughts think, oh, well, I'm not going to bug them. They're just going to get mad. They're just going to say I'm over dramatic or something around that line. And I get that because I've been there. You know, there's some days when I really just don't want to talk about my anxiety or depression because I'm so worried I'm going to bug someone. But what I realize and what others could realize is that there's always someone who's going to care. There's always someone who's going to listen, and there's always at least one person who's going to be absolutely devastated if you decide to end your life. And it's really horrifying. You know, I can't tell you how many times I've sat there and thought, you know, I could have met so many amazing people who just ended it, you know. And it's a really upsetting thing, you know, people I don't know, but they were so kind, you know, and the only flaw they had was caring a little bit too much about what people thought about them. And it's really upsetting, you know, because it's really good people. And one thing a lot of people don't understand about suicidal thoughts is it's not something that people tell you just because they want attention or because I don't know how to describe it. It's not something that just happens. You don't just wake up one day and think, oh, I want to kill myself, you know, I want to end it all. You know, it's not like that. Usually it's months and years of buildup and depression and anxiety and feeling horrible about yourself. And sometimes it's even other people making you feel horrible about yourself. People really have to learn these days to be careful what they say. Because people with depression, sometimes you won't even know they have depression. And if you just mess up and you get mad at someone and you decide it's funny to tell them to go and end their life, it's really not. Because they might take that seriously and they might actually do it. I know someone who actually ended their life because of that. Because someone said go end it and they did. And it's a very horrible thing. It really is. So if you know someone with depression, you really need to be careful what you say. Sometimes you can't even say bye, you know, like not even meaning like bye forever, but meaning just like goodbye for now, you know, and they'll take that if they have depression and they'll think, bye. What do you mean bye? You're never going to talk to me again. I'm losing another person. And that alone is enough to push somebody, you know, trigger somebody into a major anxiety attack. If you say something on accident, like you tell someone that you're sick of them, and you're sick of all the drama, and you're not going to be their friend anymore, they might get that in their head and they might play that on repeat. Because a lot of people with depression have that issue where someone says something and they play it on repeat in their head over and over again. And an example of that is the other day someone called me ugly. And I know I'm not, but I got it stuck in my head. And I kept saying, I'm ugly, I'm ugly, I'm ugly, I'm ugly. I'm never going to be good enough. And it's really upsetting because, you know, I really felt like I couldn't go to anyone. I felt like I couldn't talk to anyone about it. And, you know, I probably could have, you know. In fact, I know I could have. But because I have depression, it was really hard. And so, you know, I mean, you really just never know when a moment could be your last for someone. If they have depression, it's basically a ticking time bomb. And it's really sad because you never know when they're going to have their next anxiety attack. You never know when they're going to be triggered. You never know what could trigger them. Just waking up in the morning could trigger them, make them have an anxiety attack. Some people have anxiety attacks in their sleep because their depression is so bad. And it's really stuff you gotta, you know, there's not really much you can do about it. But if you just talk to the person, if you just make their day a little bit better, if you check in on them, if you say, hey, how are you today? You know, that can make somebody with depression's day a lot better. It really could. Like, a lot of people don't realize that. Just a simple, hey, how are you, could really change someone's life. Because you never know what they're going through. You really don't. And, I mean, well, unless they tell you, but chances are they won't tell you everything. You never know everything a person's going through, because some stuff they just feel like they can't tell you. I know I'm like that. So, I guess that's really all I can really say about that. But if you know someone who shows signs of depression, I want to encourage you to really try to help them as much as possible, because chances are they won't go and get help themselves, because they'll feel like they're just bugging someone. And I understand that, you know, I really do. But if you can help, then you should, you know. And you can help, like I said, by just even checking in on them every day. You know, saying, hey, how are you? How are you feeling today? Are you okay? Do I need to come over? You know, if you live close to them, you say, do I need to come over? And if you think they have an anxiety attack, you know, if they're getting close to that, if they're stressing a lot, if they're one-wording you, and then they just stop, you know, I really encourage you to go and check on that person. Or if you know their family, get someone in their family to check on them. You know, it really helps. You know, we could save a lot of lives if we all just helped out a little bit more. You know, we really could. We could stop losing so many good people if we just stopped and thought about it. And that's really a big goal of mine. You know, I encourage myself, even though I have plenty of my own depression and anxiety and insecurities and abandonment issues and trust issues, no matter who the person is, if I think I can make their day a little bit better by listening to their problems, I will. It's just the kind of person I am. In hopes that, you know, maybe I can just make their lives a tiny bit better. But anyways, that's all I have for you guys tonight. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.